election. Well, I got news from Mr. Bloomberg, and that is the American people are sick and tired of billionaires buying elections.
He just can't hide behind the airways. He has to answer questions.
$60 billion can buy you a lot of advertising, but it can't erase your record.
Now, those same Democrats seem perfectly fine with what looks like an effort by Mike Bloomberg to actually buy votes. Now, the former New York City mayor raised $16 million to pay the fines and court fees of 32,000 former felons. Well, what do they have to do for it? Well, the 32,000 ex-cons he's bailing out are all black and Hispanic, and a memo from Bloomberg's team lays out what's really going on. The data shows that in Florida, black voters are a unique universe where the Democratic support rate tends to be 90 to 95%. Joining me now is Christian Adams, election lawyer and commissioner on the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Christian, great to see you tonight. Now, you say, I believe, that this could be breaking existing federal law. Explain it for the layman.
Right. Now, Laura, first of all, I understand it seems like a very nice thing to do for these people to get their restitution paid for, and for the victims of the crimes to get all this money finally after waiting for it. But here's the problem. It might jeopardize these same people who are trying to restore their civil rights because it might be breaking federal law. Federal law makes it a crime to pay for or offer to pay for or receive money for voting. And so if somebody gives you something for voting, that is a crime under federal law. So Bloomberg might be putting these people right back in jeopardy of federal prosecution.
Now, is there tax implications here? I mean, that's paying, basically giving people money in order to affect their vote. So any expenditure at all in consideration of vote or withholding a vote. But what about a tax implication on this, Christian? I'm going back to my law school days, but if someone it's basically income to pay off a debt, do you have to declare that, and do you have to pay taxes on that?
Yes and yes. Look, if somebody came and paid off your mortgage or paid off your car loan and just paid for it all, that would be a thing of value that you receive. Just like Bloomberg has promised to pay off the debt for these individuals who have to pay restitution, that is a thing of value. So he would also be creating tax liability in addition to jeopardizing their criminal freedom. Now they're finally trying to restore their rights, and he's screwing it up.
Yeah, well, Christian, you hit the federal law at play and now tax implications. But here's what Florida law says about buying votes. No person shall directly or indirectly give or promise anything of value to another intending thereby to buy the person's or another person's vote or to corruptly influence that person and another casting his or her vote, et cetera, et cetera. Third degree felony there. Could Bloomberg be in violation of that?
Well, this one's even more interesting because it specifically references indirectly. So if you indirectly give somebody something of value, which is namely pay their debt, the real question is whether or not you're buying their vote. You're getting them to vote in exchange for that. And I think that's kind of what Bloomberg said he's doing, isn't it? So it really is a real unfortunate situation. You know, you thought you'd seen everything until this year. The avalanche of money that's affecting this election is just astonishing.
Well, mentioning the racial angle, I'm trying to think of a third problem for Bloomberg here as a civil matter, perhaps, with the racial implication of this and giving a benefit based on race. It's more opaque. But Christian, fascinating. We're going to be following this. Thanks so much. And as Bloomberg meddles in Florida's election, the GOP is challenging a recent court ruling that could let Democrats steal the race in Pennsylvania. Well, Republicans are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn a state high court order that mail-in ballots received days after the election must be counted. But that's just one of several recent rulings out of swing states threatening the integrity of the November 3rd election. Here to break it all down is former acting U.S. Attorney General George Terwilliger.